Good evening, everyone. This is Veer Maheshwar, Charitable Trust, Latur, MS India, organizing Delhi International Webinar Series. In this series, speakers are invited from India and abroad. Every day, the speakers are delivering their speeches on various topics as per their field of interest and research. Today, we have invited Professor Dr. Supriya Singh Gupta, Madam, who is Professor RNC Arts, JDB Commerce, and NSC Science College, Nasik. Her topic is photo pollution. I welcome you, ma'am, from my organization, from all the participants, those who are joined here. I welcome all the participants, those who are joined here. As Professor Dr. Supriya Singh is not new for this dais, she have joined as a keynote speaker already many times. I welcome you, ma'am, and request you can start your speech now. Thank you. Kindly unmute yourself. Dr. Supriya Singh, madam, kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Just give me a minute. Huh? My camera is not working. Let me check that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I will be sharing my screen now.
Yes, you can share.
Okay, is it visible now? The screen? Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah, okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone. So today we are going to talk about an issue which is not very well addressed in our society. And that issue is the silent glare, that is understanding the photo pollution. So by using this slide, let us understand what a photo pollution is. So on your extreme right, you can see high-rise buildings, which are well illuminated, and the glare of that is reaching the sky, and you cannot literally see any stars there. But as you move towards the left onto this image, you can see the urbanization is decreasing. The usage of light at night is also decreasing. We are moving towards the rural areas. And we can see that the usage of light has decreased and the stars are more visible in the night sky. So extreme left, you can see the natural environment, and extreme right, you can actually see the photo pollution. So that is how you're going to make out whether it is a photo pollution or not. Now, photo pollution is also called as artificial light at night. That is ALAN. Now, how we'll define that the light is acting as a pollution now? So the light which is exposed to us at the daytime is not a pollution. The light which is exposed to us at the night is a pollution. And at the night also there is a limit. So there naturally also the nights are not pitch black, pitch dark nahi hoti hai. There is some level of illumination at the night also. So if that natural level is increased either by 8 to 50%, then it is called as the pollution, a light pollution. So Earth has experienced daily patterns of light and dark from time of its formation because of its rotation. Life forms, in turn, have been greatly dependent and related to these changes in light pattern continuously during the evolution. So initially, the lights were not completely dark, but the only source of illumination was the moon. But the situation changed with the invention of the bulb by the Edison. Now, what changed apart from that? Light changed our world and extended our reach. Right? Initially, the working time or the working space was limited with the daylight. So we used to work during the daylight only. So the people used to sleep early and people used to wake early. But with the light invention, that reach has been extended. But now it is not just a necessity. Now it has become the part of our aesthetics. Now you can see in this image how the lighting has been used. So we are using excessive lighting in the interiors of our house, at the exterior of our house. So it is moreover an aesthetic. And as a result of that, whole city is shining bright at night. We can see that in this image. And this bright light can be seen from the space also. An aura is actually created around the globe because of this light pollution. But what is the matter of concern? Aren't we happy with the aesthetics? Aren't we happy with the interior lightings which we are doing? So what is the concern? Or the concern is that we cannot see the stars because of the photo pollution. Or the concern is we are doing national wastage of electricity. It does matter, definitely. National wastage of electricity, that is what we are doing. But the situation is far graver than this. It is not only about the national wastage. So let's understand that. Interaction between species and the functioning of ecosystem is governed partly by light. Let us understand how it is governed. There are certain organisms which are diurnal. Diurnal means they are only active at the daytime and their rest period is at the night. As you can see in this image, honeybee hai, butterflies hai, birds hai, even humans are diurnal. On the other hand, there are organisms which are nocturnal, like bats, owl, we are familiar with, shrew, and many more. So these organisms, they are active at the daytime, at the night time only, and their rest period is during the daytime. So they have been adapted in a way that they can function only at the night. Now, when these light and dark periods are disturbed, then they disturb the organism and affect the ecosystem. Similarly, in the plants, in the daytime, the plants do photosynthesis. We all know what photosynthesis is. They absorb carbon dioxide, they release oxygen, and they form sugar in between. And at the night, these plants, they perform cellular respiration just like us. They take oxygen, they give CO2, and they utilize the sugar that is formed in the daytime for their growth, for their self-repair. So that is the repairing phase of the plants. Now, because of the photopollution that has been disturbed, means the plant cannot perform well in their night time because of the photopollution. Now, what is the effect of this? Artificial light at night, that is photopollution, is a double-edged sword. Double-edged sword means it has both benefits as well as the harmful effects. So let's talk about the benefits what light at night can give to the plants. The first is accelerated maturation. So the controlled artificial light at night can trigger the ripening and speed up the ripening process also. For example, in bananas, blue LED light speeds up the ripening process. Similarly, in blueberries, UVB increases the ripening time. Similarly, the altered sweetness, the controlled nighttime light also increases the sweetness in the plants. So, yes, sweetness in the fruits of the plants. Example, lychee trees with the green light at night, they become more sweeter. Grapes also becomes more sweeter when they are exposed to red blue light combinations at night. And the photo pollution also reduces the acidity of the fruit. And decreased acidity means the increased sweetness. So definitely all of these characters, they are working in our favor. They are giving us the good quality of fruits which can be relished. Now, what is the harm? Now, ecological and quality disruptions. Despite the potential for increased sweetness, uncontrolled light pollution causes significant negative impact, like phenological delays. Phenological delays means the plants, या trees, they changes with the environment, yeah, changes with the season. So this causes the light pollution causes the tree to hold on to leaves longer in autumn, which makes them vulnerable for the frost damage. तो plant या trees जो है उनको damage ज्यादा होता है because they cannot adapt faster with the changing season. Second is reduced pollination and yield. Definitely, if the pollination decreases, the yield is also going to decrease. Now, how the pollination decreases? Because the light pollution is affecting the insects, which are the night pollinators of the plants, and the pollination percent decreases. This can impact the decline of around 62% in the yield. So you can imagine how drastic they are affecting the yield. Third is weight loss and softening. Now, because of continuous light exposure, the fruit they loses weight and softens. Now, you can see in this image that how the plants are exposed to the photopollution at night. We can see that high illumination can be seen in the trees and in the shorter plants also. Now, prolonged exposure to artificial light prevents many trees from adjusting to the seasonal variation, as we have talked earlier, which in turn affects the wildlife that depends on trees for their natural habitat. Even humans are affected by this photopollution. Now we know that we have a biological clock. Now, what is meant by the biological clock? Are many activities of daily routine, they are dependent on the clock. Like we wake up at a specific duration. So our body runs on a clock. And during this, you can see in this image, the melatonin is a hormone which is secreted around 9 at the night until 7:30 in the morning. So melatonin level in our body is high at the night time, correct? At the night time, and it is low in the daytime. But if that night period of ours is exposed to artificial light, then it affects the melatonin secretion. Now, why we are talking about melatonin? Let's understand that. Melatonin is an anti-cancerous hormone. You understand, anti-cancerous hormone means if the amount of that decreases in our body, we are prone to more different types of cancers. So it is crucial. So let's understand, excuse me, what are the other impact the light pollution is causing on us. So the first is melatonin suppression. We can see that here in the natural darkness, this is the normal level of melatonin. We can see that in a graph, right? Which controls our sleep and wake cycle. But on the left of this first image, on the right of this first image, we can see that if our body is exposed to the artificial light at night, then it suppresses the melatonin level and gives us the flat curve. And because of this, our sleep and wake cycle is disturbed. And not only this, but because melatonin was controlling the cancerous growth, the low amount of melatonin now is unable to withstand the pressure of the body, and it may lead to certain types of cancers. In the second image, we can see that it has an impact on the sleep pattern also. So because of this, we know that the melatonin level decreases, so the sleep pattern is disturbed. And this sleep pattern disturbance leads to the insomnia. यानी नींद नहीं आती रात को या बहुत टाइम लगता है सोने के लिए. That is a sleep disorder. In the third image, we can see an impact on the mood disorders. When the suppressed, the melatonin is suppressed. There is a disturbance in the sleep and wake cycle. And because of the disturbance in the sleep and wake cycle, bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, and even psychosis. Similarly, there are other impacts also, like we can see the impact on the metabolic disorders. Now we know that uh, artificial light disrupts the sleep pattern, and it also causes an hormone imbalance. Because of that, there is an alteration in the gut microbiome. We know that when we are stressed, we have stomach issues also. Either it will be mm, constipation or it will be a loose motion. So we have different issues because our gut microbiome has changed because of the stress. So it leads to different physiological problems because of the two things. First is appetite regulation. Now, appetite regulation, it is regulated by the ghrelin and leptin. Now, because of the night light exposure, the ghrelin increases and leptin decreases. Now, ghrelin is responsible for more hunger. So, as a result of that, we are hungry all the time. So, we tend to eat more. This is the first thing. Now, the second is energy expenditure. Now, apart from being hungry more, we are also feeling lazy. So, we are feeling less active. So, we are not doing any physical activity. Now, both of these reasons, they contribute to the obesity. Now, this obesity or weight gain causes the type 2 diabetes. Now, the last impact which the light pollution has is on the cardiovascular system. Now, it leads to the higher BP. So, can you imagine that simple light pollution at the night time can cause so many disorders in the people? Now, apart from those disorders, it is not good for our eyes also. Like the blue screen which we see at night before sleeping, that is not good for us. It causes dry eyes, it causes migration, it causes headache, and even it causes the macular degeneration. Now, in the second image, you can see a person is trying to avoid the flashlight of a vehicle in front of him. So this happens when the people uses their high beams on the highways, and the person who is crossing by, who is coming from the front, is totally blinded by that floodlight, right? Because the high beam is on. And for a second, for a few seconds, we are literally blind. We cannot see what is beside us. So that is a cause of several accidents. Now, the next is nocturnal wild mammals. Nocturnal means the mammals which are active at night. We can see that there is a leopard, and on the other picture, we can see there is a deer. So, such nocturnal animals, when they come across a vehicle with a high flashlights, so these their eyes are generally flooded with the strong light, and they are saturated, so they literally goes blind for few seconds. Now these organisms, or any organism for that matter, we have rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells helps us to see at night, and cone cells helps us to see at daytime. So these organisms, they cannot switch perfectly at night because these are nocturnal animals. So they have less of rod cells, right? Cone cells. So when when the strong light falls on their eyes, they try to shift, right, from rod cells to cone cells. So from rod cells to cone cell shifting, they are practically blind for a few seconds. Now, once they have been shifted, but by the time that vehicle passes by, and the organism is again in the darkness, but now its eyes are accommodated to see in light only. So it is again blind for a few minutes. It could be half an hour or 45 minutes also, that the organism will be completely blind again because it cannot see in dark now, because the eyes have shifted its focus from the rod cells to cone cells. So it can see in light but cannot see in dark. So that is the time when the organism is again vulnerable, either for accidents or being preyed upon. And that is the reason for most of the road kills, because it practically blinds the animal for a few seconds, and those few seconds are enough to disorient that organism and causes accidents. Now let's talk about the birds. The migrating birds or the nocturnal birds, they use stars for their navigation. Now, because of the photo pollution, as you can see in this picture, you cannot see much of stars. So without the stars, these birds are disoriented. They cannot see, they cannot find their way where they have to go. So because of that, they are attracted towards the light and they keep circling around the light. And as a result, they finally die because of the exhaustion. Now, these insects. Now, we know these are the moths. In the left-hand side image, we can see these are moths, and these are attracted towards the light. Now, these organisms, they lay their eggs on a plant on which their larvae can feed. Now, because of the photo pollution, they are attracted towards the light and they keep on hovering around the light only, and they lay their eggs nearby the light source. Now, when their eggs hatches and the larva comes out, there is nothing to eat because it has not laid its eggs onto the plant, but it has laid its egg near the light source. So that is how the population of these moths has decreased. And this decrease is responsible for the loss of pollination in the previous slide. Now, similarly, the next image, the image on your right, is of firefly. Firefly, jugnu jisko bolte hain. Now, this firefly, they flashes a light. And they flashes a light in a pattern. And every species has a different pattern. या specific pattern बोलेंगे कि हर species का एक specific pattern है जिसमें वो light throw करता है. Now, this pattern of light helps them to recognize the opposite sex of the same species so that they can mate. But because of photo pollution, their light is not visible to even their species. So they cannot find their potential mate and finally they die. And because of that, that is the reason why the fireflies have become a rare entity these days. You cannot see fireflies very easily, especially in a big cities. You cannot see fireflies. Now, similarly, amphibians. The photo pollution greatly affects amphibians by altering their hormone production, gonadal development, metamorphosis, maturation, reproductive behavior, skin coloration, and thermoregulation. Now, these are the sea turtle hatchlings. Now, the sea turtles, we know that sea turtles, they lay their eggs near the shore, right? And when these eggs hatches, these sea turtle hatchlings, they move towards the sea. And how do they find the sea? They can see the reflection of the moon in the sea. So that is that source of light which they are moving towards. So these turtles, when they are hatched in an area which is having photo pollution, they're disoriented, right? As you can see in this image that the turtles are going in all the directions, right? They're disoriented. And as a result of that, they hardly any turtle can survive this disorientation because either they die because of the dehydration or they are being preyed upon. Now, what are the solutions to prevent the photo pollution? Now, we have talked about what photo pollution is, how it is harming us, how it is harming the society. Now, let us understand the solution. Strategies for your home. What should be the strategy which you can have? We can install motion sensors. So these lights are going to switch on only when they can sense the movement. Right. So when you will move into that area, the light will be on automatically. And when you will move out of that area, that light will be switched off. The second image shows that we can use the bulbs with lower intensity. So we can reduce the intensity of the light. Third picture shows the comparison of using a warm light versus using a white light. So warm light with around 3000 Kelvin of color is suitable for our eyes and is less harmful as compared to the white light at night. In the next image, you can see curtains. So we also have a responsibility that we should not allow the light in our home to escape the outer. So we should install heavy curtains so that there should not be any leakage of the light which is switched on inside the house. In the next image, we can see that how they have focused the house so the whole house is visible. So rather than installing a floodlight which is going to throw light everywhere and even reflecting the light onto the sky, they have installed specific lights which are throwing the light onto the house only. So that can be done. And the last image is of the fixture. So we can control the direction of the light by using the appropriate light fixtures, which will throw the light to the area which needs illumination and will avoid the extra glare. Now, what can be done at the community level? So we must understand that also, right? At community level, what you can do? You can advocate for better street lights. So what you can do in this, you can encourage your local municipality to retrofit street lights with shielded warm white LED fixtures. And some cities even implement policies to dim street lights to 30 to 50% after midnight when their usage is less. Second is support lighting ordinances. How we can do that? Work with local zoning boards to establish lightning zone or ordinances that limit the total lumen per acre and ban upward facing floodlights on the commercial properties. आपने देखा होगा जितनी भी कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टीज है उनमें सब में फ्लड लाइट्स लगाई जाती हैं. तो वो फ्लड लाइट सिर्फ उनके एरिया को नहीं, वो आसपास के भी सारे एरिया को इल्यूमिनेट करती है, विच इज नॉट फेयर. Third is promote the dark sky designations. Now, what is this? You can join or start a local chapter of Dark Sky International to advocate for your area to become a certified international dark skies place. How we can do that? You can search that on internet, the Dark Sky International. It is an organization which works worldwide and which takes care, which ensures that the sky should be dark at night. And these are the few email IDs which I've given here. You can approach these people. These people are working in India and you can join them. Next is you can educate neighbors and businesses. Many people are actually unaware of this type of pollution. हम बचपन से जो पोल्यूशन पढ़ते आ रहे हैं वो बहुत बेसिक पोल्यूशन के टाइप्स होते हैं. वाटर पोल्यूशन है, एयर पोल्यूशन है, नॉइज पोल्यूशन है, लेकिन लाइट कैन ऑल्सो बी अ पार्ट टाइप ऑफ अ पोल्यूशन which can actually cause you even more harm. We are not aware of this. Many people are not aware of this. So sharing simple tips like re-aiming the security lights so that it does not shine into others' yard and can lead to immediate local improvement. We can also utilize glow stones for community pathways or gardens. Consider using non-electric glow stones that provide ambient light without contributing to the sky glow. So in the picture to your right, you can actually see what the glow stone is and how it has enlightened the pathway only. So these stones are basically, they are emitting light which they absorb at the daytime. So that can be used. Now let's understand what is the role of light fixtures in light pollution. We can see in this image, there is a light fixture. It is partly shielded. You can see that the lamp is visible, the bulb is visible, and the bright yellow area is the useful light, which it is the area, it is illuminating the area which we want to be illuminated. And on both the sides of this area is the glare zone. Now this glare zone, we can see that it is trespassing in the adjoining house through the window. And it is also being reflected onto the sky, contributing in the sky glare. So this is a wrong type of light fixture. So let's understand which is the best type then. So in this image, you can see that on your extreme left, excuse me, this is the type of a fixture which is very bad for the environment. In the second, you can see that it is bad because it is still covering the 75% of the area. In the third, you can see that it is covering the 50% of the area, means it is throwing its lights to the 50% of area, out of which there is an area which is not required to be illuminated, or it is directly throwing the light into the eyes. Excuse me, please. Sorry for the disruption. Now, the fourth fixture, we can see it is the best type of the fixture where the light is directed to the area which actually has to be illuminated, and it is not throwing light into the eyes of the person passing by. So these are the type of fixtures which can focus your light. Now let's see some of the examples of correct or wrong lighting ways. In first figure, it is not a right mode of lighting because it is unnecessarily throwing excess light onto the plants and unnecessarily keeping the plants in the stress. The second type is again not favorable because they have installed a single flashlight to illuminate all the area, which is actually not required. In the third image also, you can see that the fixtures are wrong. They are illuminating the whole road, building, and even throwing the glare in the sky. The next image is the correct way of lighting. They have highlighted the building only, so it contributes to the safety of the building. Next image is also a correct way of lighting. They have perfectly enlightened the wall and the pathway. And the next image is also a correct way. This is the type. This is called as moonlighting. Now here is again an image. In the left side, you can see that they have used the yellow lights with a high intensity. And on the right, you can see that they have used the LEDs. Now again here, you can see that in the image first, now you can see it. Now what you can see here is the bulb. So it is throwing glare into your eyes. But in the second picture, you cannot see the bulb. That means the light is not thrown into your eyes. It is only focusing onto the area which needs to be illuminated. In the next image, you can see that there are two highways, one with yellow lights and one with the white and caramel lights. In the yellow one, you can see that the glare is too much. It is illuminating the road. It is illuminating the sky also. Whereas in the right image, where the highway is illuminated well, but there is no glare throwing on the sky. They have used a proper fixture and they have used the LED lights with low intensity. And the other images where you can see that there are small lights on the steps, staircase. So these are the motion sensor lights. So instead of installing a big one light, which you have to switch on every time to illuminate the whole area, so there is no need of that. You can install these smaller lights on the steps. So as you will move by, you move through the steps, the lights will be illuminated. We can see that in the garden, they have used the smaller lamps. The lamps are smaller in height because we don't need the lamps to be very high. Right? Why we need the higher lights when we have to study or when we are doing some work there. In garden, if you are simply walking or if you are simply passing by, then the light should be low heighted so that the only ground will be illuminated. And in the next image also, you can see that there are low heighted lights. So the usage of light is in our hands. So let's use it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya Singh and Professor Dr. Supriya Singh. It was very effective speech by you, like water pollution, air pollution, how the photo pollution is creating the serious effects on the life of the human, insects, birds, environment. How the lights can be controlled with our fixtures, and which is the bad lighting, which is the good lighting. So these things are very much useful to take care of everyone. Also, the responsibility of us and responsibility of common people, you have explained here. It's very true that when we go for the out stations, then the hotels on the road, they are limiting so much light to attract the customers. Also, people with good buildings, they are also limiting the light unnecessarily. So it's a very wrong thing you have explained here, and we take care of using lights in future also. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request participants to discuss with our speaker. Dr. Swarna Shukla sir is from Nasik. So definitely he will discuss today as like purity. Our respected director Virabhadra Ganacharyaji has been here. We welcome him and we congratulate him for joining here every day, for blessing us on every day. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining here and giving your blessings. Now I request Dr. Swanand Shukla, sir, please discuss on today's topic. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Betkar sir. Good evening, Guruji, and good evening, ma'am. Dr. Supriya, ma'am. Wonderful presentation you have made regarding the photo pollution, because this is also very emerging issues, and we are using artificial light too much, and no doubt we are using natural light. Natural light doesn't have much as the disadvantages, but the natural light are having, because there are various variations in this light system also. So it is said that the human eye can respond from the moonlight which is coming, which is in I think 1 lux or something like that, and the sunlight it gives 1 lakh lux. That kind of a light is reaching to our eyes. So human eye can respond to this much level of the photo or light, what we can see. And very well placed that there are variety of systems are there, direct system, indirect system. Like when we are playing carom board, we are having the light from the top, and we are playing carom board. Or goldsmith Sunar, he's also using that same 100% light on the working areas, and like that. But if you're going to the hotels and inn and some places, you'll find there is a very mild light is there. You'll find 90% of the light is directed upward on the roof, and very less amount of light is coming in the room. So illumination is very mild over there. So as per the requirement, I think we are utilizing light, and no doubt if we are using it too much now in the showrooms, they are using too much of light, because their product should be low, and it should come forward in front of consumers. So that is why they are using this technique. But definitely we are having so many impacts also. But light is playing a very vital role in the human body. Like natural lights helps in that our vitamin D synthesis is possible because of the natural light. Ultraviolet rays convert the 7D calciferol into calciferol, and vitamin D3 it forms, and then we are having the neonatal jaundice. Neonat means that 0 to 28 days baby is there, and most of them are suffering with the jaundice, pilia se suffer karte hain. So they also require this neonatal jaundice also there. So we are using some incubators also for this kind of. So light is playing a wonderful role, and what color, skin color we get, it is from the light. So natural light is wonderful, but in a light system also, initially we used to use a filament light. That tungsten wire was there, it was heated, and then it was emitting the heat. Then we turned to the mercury electrode tube lights, and that tube light also now has gone to LED, and LED to so many things else. In between also there was something, and now yes, definitely we should go for what for electricity, what we are using. If we want to save it, yes, definitely what proposition you have said, that the light should be whenever required. Wherever required, we have to think about this light. So number of papers are there, no doubt. There is a very strong evidence that light produces, affects the cardiac actions, cardiac cycle, and also the GIT symptoms, and it may produce metabolic disorder or hormonal disorders. So that is also very much there. But now very important question is, when we are not using light, when if suppose light disappears because of the electricity failure, and when we look at the sky, we can see the number of sky, planets and stars, and it takes, our raw cells plays a role over there, and we can visualize the things in a dark night also. The objects can be visualized in a dark night also. So, whether we are addicted to this light, the new terminology we had to use, photo addictions, right? Because people like to be there in a light, and, we used to say, everybody wants to come in a limelight. Right, that is the phrase we are using. So
Actually.
whether it is a kind of addiction, because I've seen, people are using so much of light, and of course there are several things are there, like, nowadays LED lights are placed at spotlights are there, so you'll not find, too much of a glare formation or something like that. But whether, that the next question should arise in our mind, if the light goes, we find ourselves lost somewhere, electricity failure is there, if we don't have generators, then it becomes so troublesome, right? So whether we are getting addicted to the light or photo, that is another very important thing, because the people from the tribal areas, they don't get light, throughout a week also.
They
So
don't get light and they don't need light also.
they don't need also.
Need light,
So
yeah.
we have to learn this, that we are really, means if there is a, we are feeling something necessity for my physics and mind, so it is addiction, that is only addiction. So are we going to that level of addiction, photo addiction? So that is my question. Please comment on this. Otherwise, your presentation was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So definitely it is an addiction only. We are addicted to light, right? We feel handicapped when the light goes for even for an hour or so, when there is a major cut down and your inverter also goes off. Then even it is difficult to pass even a single hour without a light, right? But I will say that there no addiction is difficult to ditch. COVID has taught us many things, right? And this is one of the things that we can leave our any sort of addiction in some time. We will need some, definitely will need some time to adapt to that new condition, but gradually we will adapt to that also. Initially, the lockdown was very tough on everyone, right? The starting 15 days or 1 month was very tough. But after that, everyone was adapted to that phase only. Right, we were very used to of working from home. We were used to of working in kitchen. We were making different dishes. We were having a good time at that time also, COVID, right? By staying at home, it was difficult for us, but yes, we got adapted to that also. And the issue is now you can see that the impact of COVID, we are still experiencing that impact, right? We immediately in some period of time, we again addicted to that life. When we don't have to go anywhere, we have to work from home with our comfort zone. We were not doing anything, so we adapted to that. So I think adaptation or is really possible. So we are definitely addicted to the light right now. But if there is no light because of any reason in the future, then it will take some time, but we will get out of that addiction and we will adapt it to the new era which will be there.
Yeah, definitely. We should not land in such a kind of situation. That is very
Yeah,
important.
definitely.
And that learning is not so great. But what I feel, we have to create a kind of awareness among the population that photo, if there is no need of light, too much of light, we should restrict the light uses also, and what kind of light we should use, and how we can place this, the lights, and how it will illuminate our the room, and what purpose. If it is my study room, then it is
Yes, the
different thing.
study
If it
room
is my
should have a
bedroom,
different lux, right? It should have around 400 to 500 lux for study room. But if it is your living room, 100 lux is enough, 100 to 150 lux is enough. If it is your bedroom, then 50 to 150 lux is enough, right? So it depends on which area you want to be illuminated and how much light do we need. Currently, how every house understands the lighting mechanism is that if you are switching on, if you are keeping the light switched on and or fan switched on, you are contributing to the higher electricity bill. So that is how people are relating. So the people who can actually afford, they are not very concerned about their electricity bill. So this is the time when they should be aware that it is not only about the electricity bill, it is not only about the national wastage of electricity, it is about our physiology now. It is about your health issues also. And these health issues will be really grave because you can see that now obesity or diabetes, hypertension has become very common. And these are all lifestyle diseases. These are contributing from that only.
And one more, one more point I want to point out, that light is always with the heat. So if
light
you
always comes with the heat.
filament lamp, we cannot touch, filament lamp. अगर वो जल रहा है तो हाथ में लगाते थे हम. Right? So it is always with. Very difficult to segregate, whether it is the light is producing or heat is producing the conditions. So this is also one fact. If we are going really with a research attitude, we have to say, this is one of the variable what we have to consider. Right. So I think I will stop here. Thank you very much, Doctor. Principal Sir, Dr. Betkar Sir, thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sir, for studies, discussion, and useful things. What care should be taken by common people. So you are discussed very perfectly. And today's speaker is also from Nasik, and you are also from the Nasik. At the same time, you are working.
She's from which place? Nasik.
You are working for the tribals. Also, you are working for the NSS also on state level. On ETS committee, just you are nominated as ETS committee. So your contribution, academic attachment with our today's speaker will be definitely useful for your city and for your work.
She is from which organization?
Supriya Singh, madam, please say your organization.
Yeah, okay. Yes, sir, I am from Gokhale Education's BETKAR College.
Okay,
are you from Nasik?
Yeah, I'm from Nasik. I'm a professor in Motiwala National Homeopathic Medical College.
Okay. nice.
Thank you.
I can feel your medical background while you're discussing. While your discussion, I could feel that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. If anyone wants to discuss, they can discuss also. And we are very much thankful to our today's speaker, Professor Dr. Supriya Singh Gupta, madam, for accepting our invitation and for joining here on the studies talk. Now, Surya Vyas, sir, please.
नमस्कार सर, नमस्ते मैडम, आपका उद्बोधन अच्छा रहा. मेरा एक छोटा सा प्रश्न है कि पहले जो अपने जो बल्ब होते थे कांच के होते थे, वो है ना, मतलब पावर कंज्यूम तो करते, लेकिन उसमें एक शीतलता थी, है ना, कूलनेस. और आजकल जो एलईडी है जो है वो प्लास्टिक है, तो वो मेरे ख्याल से हालांकि पावर सेव कम मतलब वो खर्चा करते हैं, लेकिन आंखों के लिए मेरे हिसाब से वो ज्यादा हीट और उस टाइप का मैंने जो पर्सनल रियलाइज किया, वो उसमें कूलनेस थी और इसमें थोड़ी गर्म, तो वो ज्यादा आंखों के लिए नुकसान है, हालांकि पावर सेव भली करता है.
इंटेंसिटी कम हो गई ना, एलईडी की इंटेंसिटी कम है. और सर आप देखिए, सिंपल सी बात है कि एक्सेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज बैड. राइट, यूजेज ऑफ लाइट वाज नेवर बैड. राइट, जब लाइट आई थी तो इट वाज यूजफुल फॉर अस. व्हेन द बल्ब वाज इन्वेंटेड वी वर वेरी हैप्पी एंड वी यूज्ड इट वाइजली. बट अभी जो यूज हो रहा है लाइट का, दैट इज द इनअप्रोप्रिएट यूजेज which is being harmful to us. Unnecessarily, you have seen certain images, unnecessarily we are using enormous lighting in our house. Why? There is no use of that. Right? The light from street, which is infiltrating your house, that is bad. When you are exposed to that light whole night, that is going to affect your melatonin level. Excess of everything is going bad. It's not about whether you are using LED or which intensity you are using. The thing is that light should not be exposed to us at the night time. Light हमको दिन में भी बहुत मिलती है. दिन की light is definitely helpful for us. But वो pollution कब बनती है? जब वो रात को होती है, continuous exposure है and the intensity is high.
धन्यवाद मैडम। एक तो क्या कि मतलब जो कांच वाले जो बल्ब थे आजकल लगभग खत्म हो रहे हैं और ये प्लास्टिक वाले हैं, ये थोड़े ज्यादा नुकसान करते हैं। दूसरा एक मैंने देखा है जो मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी में रहते हैं, जैसे बॉम्बे में रहे, वहां पे क्या उनको दिन भर उसकी लाइट क्या, अब वो और भी कहीं जाते हैं तो उनको दिन भर रात भर लाइट चाहिए, जबकि जैसे दूसरे छोटे शहर रहता हूँ हमको दिन में लाइट की जरूरत नहीं होती है, अंदर कहीं कमरे में है तो ठीक है, बाकी जनरली जो है वो एकदम ओपन लाइट आ रही है, बढ़िया है। लेकिन ऐसे उनको 24 ही घंटा लाइट चाहिए, ये एक सबसे बड़ी।
यस डेफिनेटली। हमारी जो प्रेजेंटेशन है ना सर, वो मेन फोकस है इस पे कि रात को जो लाइट का एक्सपोजर हो रहा है हमारी बॉडी को, दैट इज हार्मिंग अस। नाइट एक्सपोजर शुड नॉट बी देयर। जब आप सोते हैं तो इट हैज टू बी अ पिच डार्क एनवायरनमेंट।
वो अपने शरीर को किस प्रकार प्रभावित कर रहा है और उसके कारण क्या क्या डिजीज है या उत्पन्न हो रही है, इन सब चीजों में बहुत बढ़िया मैम, धन्यवाद।
हाँ जी सर।
धन्यवाद सूर्य प्रकाश व्यास सर फॉर डिस्कसिंग विद आवर स्पीकर। ये बहुत गहरी और केयर टेकन करने वाली बात है कि फोटो पोल्यूशन हमारी बॉडी पे, एनवायरनमेंट पे, बर्ड्स पे, इंसेक्ट पे, सभी जगह पे एक्सेस लाइट कैसा इफेक्ट कर रही है। ये सीरियसनेस है और हम थोड़ा सा केयर करेंगे कि जैसे पिक्चर जो मैडम ने बोले वाला है वो यूज करेंगे, कम लाइट यूज करने की कोशिश करेंगे, जहाँ पे हद तक जैसा रीडिंग है तो वहाँ यूज करेंगे, मगर कंट्रोल करेंगे जो मैं बॉडी के लिए हानिकारक। थैंक यू मैडम। In future also you will be here as a speaker as per your time, and I have requested you and you are joined here, accepted our invitation. We are very thankful to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am thankful to all participants, those who are joined here. Kindly fill the feedback link which is available in the chat box. We will continually listen to speakers every day. We meet again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.